The Cotter Show.
Welcome to 2024. This is going to be a good year for the Sam Show. I can feel it. I mean, look, I got it all laid out. Look, I got my video ideas right here. There's today's 2023 best set. And then up there I got my, that's a diagram from the Puff Bible. But that's not why we're here. 2023 was the greatest, my chair is turning. 2023 was the greatest year of Melee, period. Now, why might that be? Was it the tight race for the #1 spot, the peak of a growing roster of young superstars and long-lasting legends alike, Leffen's LACS, Hungrybox's SSC, Steve ruining Ultimate and sending thousands of players rushing back to the warm safety of Melee's flawless character design? No. 2023 was a great year of Melee because it's the first year that I was involved. That's right. Me. When people wanted goofy surface level analysis of a few of Melee's big moments, where did they turn to after Walt and Chaler and Fraser? Me. That is why I felt it was fitting for me alone to determine the best set of 2023. So, I collected 16 sets that I thought were worthy of consideration, hit go live, and streamed myself watching and analyzing a little over 3 hours of raw Melee. Now, this was going to be the point in the video where I hand the torch over to Live Connor, but,
Toronto. Backdoor tech chases. Okay.
I fucked the stream. So, the stream that was supposed to save me all the time of scripting and editing a video like this one ended up just being a 3-hour waste of time enshrined in digital history, but, at least there's proof I did my research. In honor of the attempt at a stream, I'm going to keep the analysis in the format of a 16-set randomized bracket, including all of the major grand finals and a couple hand-picked sets that I thought maybe could win, in a series of head-to-head battles. Starting with... This was a closer matchup than I expected. I really enjoyed Leffen's run at LACS, which will be highlighted more than once in this video, and I hadn't really sat down and watched Cody Plupp at Major Upset. Kind of figured it would be a pummeling. I was vastly underestimating Major Upset Grands. Plupp claws back a 2-0 deficit, and Cody SD's first stock Game 5 and then pulls that win out of the mud. However, Leffen Cody at LACS is a moment that I think easily extends outside of the scope of 2023. The matchup is enticing before the game even starts. Leffen is probably the most decorated solo Fox main of all time, who's almost kind of stepping away from Melee, and then comes out of hiding to challenge Cody, the contemporary new top Fox. The format includes stage transformations, which favor the older player. It goes to 5. It is then decided by a strategic outplay on a transformation by the older player for an upset, sending Leffen into grand finals in 2023. Respect to Major Upset, but that moves on. What was that? Am I a Mango fan? No. I'm a Hungrybox guy through and through. Let's talk about Gommel. I apologize in advance to Moki, but he is unfortunately the biggest part of why I thought this was one of the more entertaining sets of the year. Moki was almost too primed to win this set. He's on home turf, he's playing well, he's got the whole crowd on his side, and he's playing Mango, who's been kind of making a habit out of performing okay at a tournament and then blowing out late. However, he also has a list of players that he would like to beat in 2023, and Mango is on that list, and Mango would like to stay on that list. Maybe I'm way too narrative-pilled, but it just felt like one of those moments that could work in like professional wrestling. Watching the heel tear the moment away from the up-and-coming hero was entertaining. But luckily, if you disagree with me, it's going up against Genesis 9 Grands. If you want the full Genesis story, you should watch this video on it. No, not that one. No. Yeah, that one. By me. But the short story is J-Mook had the greatest underdog performance of all time in 2022 at Genesis 8, but he fell just short of actually winning the whole thing. Then, as if he was almost self-aware of the rocky moment he was setting himself up for, he wins his first Super Major ever the next year, this year, at Genesis 9. It was a history book moment for Melee, and it easily moves on. Okay, another Losers Finals has made it into the bracket, but don't worry, this one has even less of a chance of moving on. Super Smash Con Losers Finals stood out to me, one, because there's a moment at the end of the set where Hungrybox tries to pick an illegal stage, turning into like a 4D mental chess move that arguably ends up winning him the entire set, and also because it was a key moment in Hungrybox's best performance of the year, and I main Jigglypuff. But for this matchup, I think we should spend a little more time on LACS Grands. I mentioned earlier that we would talk about LACS again, and that was in reference to now. There's a lot to say about Leffen's run at LACS. In fact, I think there's a really good YouTuber who said all those things. But in short, Leffen took a huge risk in going off main against arguably the best player in the world at the time. And he did it to win the biggest prize pot of the year. And as a little narrative cherry on top, if you don't know, Leffen kind of gained his notoriety as being the God Killer. He is single-handedly credited for ushering in the era following the five gods by being the first non-god to win a set over each of them. Then now, in the time of Melee that he created room for, he comes back and beats the two arguably current gods to win LACS. It moves on. For some reason, the Collision set didn't stand out to me at the time, but looking back, it was clearly a high point in the year. J-Mook wins his very next tournament after Genesis from losers against Zayn with a reverse 3-0. Objectively, a less important win for him in the grand scheme of things, but for sure a more impressive one. And then, Fetty was cool, but... These were two huge wins for Zayn. In 2015, Mango and HBox are old. No, but this one was pretty much a wash. At Gommel, Mango showed a little life, but he'd clearly already used all his energy staying off of Moki's kill list. And at SSC, HBox came a single frame away from putting a year-changing exclamation point on an already great tournament. Well, here's the sleeper of the bracket. To be fair, when I included J-Mook's win over Zayn at Genesis 9, I remembered it being a much bigger moment. But looking back, it was just so early in the bracket, and it wasn't even the biggest upset of the night. So even though Tipped Off was a pretty bread-and-butter Zayn win, I feel comfortable moving it on, just because it was a more significant moment, and it gives us another tale of Mango climbing out of loser's bracket just to get chopped down by Zayn Bunyan. Paul Zanian? Paul. Next one. Okay, we get to end the bracket with a bang. Now, I had missed Shine the first go-around, so I didn't exactly know what to expect, but I figured the Leffen Zayn LACS match would at least have a chance, just seeing as it's a part of such a big 1-2 punch leading into that grand finals. However, I was wrong. And dumb for not tuning into Shine as it was happening. I love this set, especially leading into that big best of 10 year-ender Cody and Zayn did at the end of the year. This has everything. It has Zayn looking unstoppable, making the matchup look completely unwinnable for Fox, and then somewhere in the middle of Game 4, you remember who Cody is. The sun comes up over the horizon. Everything shifts. Game 5, last stock. The best player of 2023 does it again. Shine moves on. Okay, now that we've discussed everything, let's start running this bracket. We have LACS Winners Finals and Genesis 9 Grands. I can see some disagreement with me on this one, just because I understand how important Genesis was. In fact, I'll even admit that Genesis 9 will probably outlive LACS Winners Finals in the oral tradition that is Melee narrative. But maybe just because it's fresh on my mind and I'm trying to grade this year within its own bubble, that Leffen Cody match had a bigger impact on me, and I'm moving it on. Now, you might want to skip this one, Zayn. It's LACS Grands and Collision Grands. Two Sheiks knocking around the best Marth player in the world. Now, obviously, Collision's best quality is the underdog winning with a reverse 3-0. But LACS was an underdog win, too. And it was by Leffen's Sheik. And it was for a bigger prize pool. And it was Leffen's only real run of the year, and he won it all. And yes, I'm starting to sense my own LACS bias. So, to offset things, I'm going to say something negative about LACS. I didn't get the whole slime with hair thing. Sorry, I like slime, and it was funny, I guess, but I don't know why we had to talk about it the whole tournament, to the point where the trophy was just a picture of slime with hair. Leffen just won 50 grand. He's having a career-defining moment late in his career, and this is the image associated. Yeah, I don't know. All right, Super Smash Con Grands versus Big House Grands. I'll take the one with Puff. Tipped Off versus Shine. I'm not even sure Tipped Off should have made it this far. Very few sets of this year come close to Shine, and this is not one of them. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Melee Set of the Year Semifinals, where the 4 best sets Melee had to provide in the year of our Lord 2023 face off. Starting off with the Ludwig show, we have LACS Winners Finals versus LACS Grand Finals. Let's tune into Livestream Connor and see what he had to say. This is an interesting one, because it should be obvious, right? Grands should beat Winners Finals, but I think this was a more fun set to watch. It's the set I remember more of. I think this was cool that he beat Zayn. I mean, here, this is Leffen beating the 2 best players in the world, beating Cody and then Zayn. So, is it cooler to beat Cody in a Fox Ditto or Zayn with a Sheik counter? I think that's actually tough. I think they're basically dead even, and I'll just give it to Grants because it's Grants. I think it's a more important moment you know, there's more pressure on the line, there's more money on the line. But that was very close. You see why we're doing the scripted thing instead? But I agree with him. As cool as the Fox Ditto was, winning Grands is what made that tournament into a moment. And Leffen, in my eyes, proved a lot more by showing that he's still innovating and growing as a player who many see as having a foot or two out of the door of Melee. Now let's see Connor stumble through deliberation for Super Smash Con Grands and Shine Grands. I think Shine is cool, because we just watched it, because it's the two top players fighting against each other. Zane sweeps in the bracket reset, and then they go to a game 5. That's pretty awesome. This one's just cool because it's, you know, it's a good Hungry Box performance, and it's a kind of crazy last moment. But this is clearly the better one, and Super Smash Con Grands kind of overperformed. And then there were two. LACS Grand Finals. The Godslayer awakes from his slumber and slays the dragon again. Or Shine Grand Finals. The closest race ever for #1 materializes into a dramatic finale, in retrospect reflecting the actual end-of-year rankings. I'm not sure what the correct answer is, but this is my list. And in my mind, one of these sets stands out more as a year-defining moment. Now let's see what Connor has to say. Okay. So now we have the two best sets of the year. LACS, where Leffen pulls out a sick upset, countering Zane with the Sheik. Leffen doesn't go Fox, takes it to game 5, and clutches out with an alternate. Or we have Shine, where Zane 3-0s for the bracket reset. Then Cody brings it back to game 5. These are two very good sets. I think this one, LACS feels cooler. There's more money on the line, and it's a more interesting story. Shine gets so much value out of being like the two top players in the world. But I think LACS Grands is the cooler set. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we have crowned the Ludwig Ogren Championship Series Grand Finals. Leffen versus Zane.
Save up to 60% at our once-a-year sale and
Leffen
clearance.
beating Zane with
Mattress
Sheik
Firm.
as the Melee set of the year.
Wow, good stuff to Leffen.
The best set of Melee played in 2023.
Turns out the worst Street Fighter player that can play is the best Melee player. You know?
Not even a Melee player.
He knows where his bread's buttered.
I mean, this is huge for Leffen. What is the last Super Major? I mean, not Super Major. I guess this is an invitational.
It's like a really big, strong tournament. It's been, was it Battle BC 4?
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Thanks for joining me on this journey.
Hop a squat.
Man.
See you same
I
time
know
next
how
year.
long I've waited to win in this venue. I never won a summit. This is not a summit, but
no.